Hi everyone, it's Heidi back again here with another Ferrero Friday project, and this time I've got a tiny little box which has got a slightly concave lid that you can see there. But again, it just holds a single Ferrero Rocher and would look lovely as a little table gift. And I've used a stamp set on here called Party Pants. So it is very easy to use just a small piece of DSP, and it's just 6.5 inches by 3.5 inches, and the scoring is very straightforward. So you're going to score along the long edge at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, turn it through 90 degrees, and then you're going to score at 1.5, that's the bottom section, and at 2.5. So put your scoreboard away or your scoring stamp, your trimmer, and I've used the It's My Party DSP here because it's quite light, so hopefully you can see the score lines a little bit more easily. It's often easier to work on lighter card. Now the next thing you're going to do is actually make these curves on the top here. Now I'm using some cups, just water machine cups, and all I'm going to do to start off with is use my grid paper. I'm just going to mark the midpoint on each of these top squares. So just every, obviously it's 1/2 inch on this, and then all I'm going to do is line up my curve with the bottom corner and that top score line, and I'm just going to score, and I'm just going to repeat that all the way along. So I'm going to go in one direction, I'm just making that midpoint a little bit more noticeable. And whenever you're scoring, just remember, you know, to line up slightly away from your scoring mark, because your score tool obviously takes a little bit of the width up. So having gone along, you can see in one direction, she says, hopefully. Reverse the paper, and I'm going to go along in the other opposite direction. So hopefully you can see it. So I'm literally just putting the cups in, and just repeating in the opposite direction. So that is all the scoring you're going to do. Okay, so put those to one side, and you can see there, hopefully they all pretty much join up in the middle. I've gone off on one very slightly. So having done that, all you need to do is just gently crease. I'm actually not using a bone folder on this because it's DSP. Actually, it doesn't matter. You can use your bone folder if you want to. Okay, so on this top section, you're now going to very gently fold those crease lines, the curved ones. And this is where you just need to just ease them very slightly. And I kind of ease them in each direction first, and then I shall go along and pinch them to make a bit of a better crease. You see just there. So I've just eased them in gently, and it's because it's small, and obviously this could be made a bit bigger as well. So all I need to do now is go along and fold the straight line down and pinch your curved bit together. So you see just there, and you'll see the curve is starting to form. And you're going to go along now and actually punch on the top there before we glue it up, and that just makes it easy. So I'm just using one of the handheld punches here. I'm just coming along, and on each of those curved ones I'm just squeezing it in and punching, and that's where a ribbon or our cord is going to go through in a minute. So again, as you can see, you don't have to be desperately accurate, but it does. And I'm also going to thread the ribbon while it's flat, just because it just makes it a little bit easier to do. Okay, so you've punched all your holes. Next I'm going to trim just this one square away, this long skinny one on the bottom there. And as I said, what I'm actually going to do is thread my ribbon through here. Now on my other one I used some the gold 1/8 ribbon, and the reason is because I couldn't find my silver ribbon. It's quite simple. I was intending to use my silver ribbon, but I couldn't find it. So just cut yourself a length. I left a fairly generous length here, just to make it a bit easier. And you'll find that actually if you've got the scoring tool here, this is great for actually pushing ribbon through. So all I'm going to do is just thread the ribbon through those, and this is where I have to say, you know, if you've got some fine pink ribbon, Stampin' Up! Don't do one this fine in the colours, which I think is a real shame. So I'm just getting that started, and I'm going to get about halfway along, and then I'm going to close it up, and then I'm going to finish the remainder, and that's so that you haven't got the closing at the back of the box, because where the seam is the back. So all I'm doing is just using the narrow end of the ball tool to pop it through and thread. So I've got sort of around about halfway through, so I'm just going to pop it through one more hole, and then keeping that ribbon out of the way. I might need to punch an extra hole just in that side, just when I line it up. I'd forgotten about that one. So all I'm going to do is put a little bit of fuse on the end here, and then just fold up sections, yeah, and just line it up there. I say, all I'm going to do is just punch a hole through by lining that up. Okay, so there's your box. I'm going to finish threading the ribbon so that the ribbon comes round to the front. So just from, this is where you can see I did it while it was flat, where you can, it's a little bit more awkward when it's made into a box, because obviously not as easy to turn, but not difficult. Just a few moments. I mean, one thing with ribbon is that if you're ever trying to thread it through and you're really struggling, if you put a little bit of crystal effects on the end and leave it to dry, it will then dry quite hard and firm, and that actually will then enable you to thread things far more easily. So, last little bit of ribbon. There we go. Okay. So just gently. And so all we're going to do now is fold up the bottom sections. So you're going to cut up each of these. Now I've deliberately made these quite long so that they have a good overlap, and that's just to make it a little bit more sturdy at the bottom. But we're going to use a circle of card to reinforce. So all you need to do is take the 1.5 inch punch and a piece of spare card, and I'm going to use I've got some melon mambo and I've got some plain white. Because it's mainly white, I'm actually going to use just the plain white, and I'm going to punch 2 circles, and then using a little bit of Tombow, this is the wet glue that Stampin' Up! Do, just put a fair amount of glue on there, and then I'm going to fold each of these back and then layer them across each other. So you can see there it's just a little bit shorter than the full length. So put a tiny bit of glue on there, just on your first one. And if you line those up perfectly, side by, so they're parallel, that'll just glue it in place, and all you need to do is fold over your others like so. Just keep them lined up, and then as I say, probably pop a little bit more glue on the outside edge there, and pop that on the bottom, and then put another one in the middle. And because the middle, the inside, I've actually changed my mind. I'm actually going to put a nice bit of melon mambo in there. So again, just a little bit of glue, and pop the circle in there. Hopefully you can see, just popped inside. And then all you need to do is pop your Ferrero in the middle. As you can see, it fits perfectly. And then very gently squeeze those in and just gather together. And then all you need to do is just tie it. Don't do as I've done and pull too hard. Allow that to go. Okay. And then all that's left to do is a little bit of stamping. And I'm actually using the Party Pants stamp set here, which is one of the celebration items, and it's got some great fun sentiments. I wasn't sure about it to start off with, but there's thinking of you, woohoo, happy birthday to you, hugs and kisses, cake time, put your party pants on, the hi, which is the one I use. So I'm actually going to use the thinking of you, because this is just going to be a little gift to say to somebody, I'm thinking of you. So, a bit of Melon Mambo ink. I'm going to use the 1 1/4 inch punch to punch that out, and you'll see it literally just fits. I'm going to punch another 1 1/2 inch circle from Melon Mambo. Use a bit of fuse, and you'll see that just sets it off really nicely. And all that's left to do is punch through the whole top, thread onto the ribbon, so just again pop that through, pull, and then tie a bow, or you can just tie a simple knot on the top. I'm just going to trim that ribbon away. So there's my little box, and all that's left to do is I'm going to punch a flower out of the little scrap of Melon Mambo that's left. I'm going to just gently shape that, and all I do is I use the opposite end of my piercing tool and push down on something soft. I've used a bit of stamping block, but it could be a piercing mat. And then just a simple rhinestone in the middle, just as a little bit of light, a glue dot on the back, and that literally finishes off your little treat box. I hope you've enjoyed that, and I hope you'll come back for more Ferrero Fridays. Thank you.